Episode 5, Endure and Survive. Last episode was great, I'd say. It was awesome. It was fantastic. We were introduced to a new faction, a group of people who rebelled against the Kansas City Fedra QZ. After being saved by Ellie, Joel begins to trust her. They start to bond. We also see a weakness in Joel in that episode. Joel is deaf in one ear. That's not in the game at all. This version of Joel has weaknesses. The game, he's a brick shithouse. He's an absolute unit in the game, and that works for the game. Personally, I don't think that version of Joel really would have fit in a TV show. Sure, they could have done it, but it wouldn't be... I don't think the story would hit the same, honestly. It's different when you're playing a game. It kind of makes sense. Having that realistic of gameplay wouldn't work. You know, imagine if Joel just couldn't hear it out of one ear, so your headphones just wouldn't, you wouldn't pick up half the side of your headphones. It wouldn't work. But in the TV show here, it works. It's interesting, and I won't spoil it, but it gets even more interesting in the future. We left that episode on a cliffhanger. Joel failing to hear two people sneaking up on him and Ellie while sleeping. We start this episode off with those two people, Henry and Sam. Crowds fill the streets, screaming freedom and fuck you, Fedra. People are burning vehicles. They are beating other people. Sure, it's freedom, but at what cost? In order to tear down one system, you have to have something better to replace it. Revolution for its own sake leads to chaos like this. A lady who wanted revenge. Not to bring peace or restore democracy or anything like that. It's not, at least the Fireflies have a goal, has some form of goal to achieve. But simple revenge? Freedom. But was that worth it? Henry and Sam hide from these people. We're not sure exactly what they did, but we know Henry gave Fedra some sort of information on Kathleen's brother, which got him killed. Henry does sign language for his little brother. Sam is deaf. Kathleen talks with some prisoners, people who ratted others to Fedra. They would turn people in for supplies and whatnot. All of these extra scenes that we've seen so far in this season has me very intrigued for season 2. I wonder what other additions they're gonna add for that season as well. I am writing these episodes before I have really watched season 2, so I hope their additions to the story hit just as hard as seasons 1. Kathleen asks these people for Henry. She really wants this guy. Kathleen says there will be a quote-unquote trial for these people, and of course it's a sham. She tells boss man here, Perry, to burn the bodies afterwards because it's faster. This soccer mom is absolutely ruthless. A looking glass into what would have happened if one follows the road of pure revenge. If that's all that matters, she doesn't care about these people.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool.
She doesn't even really care about Perry, honestly.
Oh, fuck.
She just wants to get Henry. And afterwards, what's going to happen then? I guarantee you, if she actually ends up getting Henry and all this gets sorted out with all of these traitors, it's just going to cause more chaos down the line. Like, there's no end goal there, you know? That old man Kathleen shot in the cell last episode is shown to actually be hiding Henry and Sam. They hid in an attic that guy found for 10 days. They were hanging out there for 10 days. They're getting worried because Dr. Man didn't come back for them. We all know the outcome of him, though. Poor Henry and Sam here. Henry at least has some suspicions to what happened to him. They can't wait any longer. They need to get out and make a run for it. Turns out Henry witnessed Joel's gunfight, and they followed them up the skyscraper. Henry is obviously a little green when it comes to these situations, which is fascinating 20 years into the apocalypse, and I guess he just hung out in the QZ this whole time, you know? Interesting. He's nervous holding guns up to Joel and Ellie. He decides to trust Joel. He wants to help him. They slowly talk over some food. Henry admits that he's never been violent. Apparently, Fedra in Kansas City were extra brutal. Rape and torture was common there. Do that for 20 years straight? Well, things like this tend to happen. Joel doesn't like teaming up, but he goes along with it. Last episode, we saw a scene where Kathleen and Perry saw a floor that was caving in on itself. Now we get more details on that scene. Fedra, 15 years ago, actually drove all of the infected down into the tunnels, but they're still down there. And the tunnels are where Henry wants to escape through.
Are you out of your mind?
I wish they added the stalkers from the game here. Those guys are the spookiest encounters in any of the games. They come across no place that people used to use for shelter. Ellie and Sam bond over some comic books. These two kids can finally act like kids. It's very sweet. They wait until nightfall to keep going. Henry and Joel talk about fatherhood and the truth on what happened with Kathleen's brother. Sam got sick, leukemia, and Frederick had the only medicine. I shouldn't really need to explain just how hard medicine for leukemia is to come across in a world like this. So in order to get some, Henry would need to do something big for them. He turned in the leader of this resistance movement that was in the QZ, and that was Kathleen's brother. Apparently, her brother was a very kind soul. Like, he was fucking Jesus for these guys. He was very kind and very loving and very forgiving. We get another scene with Kathleen. She visits her childhood room. She talks about how kind her brother was. She knows that he would have wanted her to forgive Henry and the ones who ratted on Fedra. She knows that, and yet she still goes down this path of vengeance. Joel and company successfully actually do sneak out of the city into the suburbs. They get shot at by a mysterious sniper, and Joel alone goes on the flanking maneuver to take out the asshole. He gets the drop on this guy. He tells him to slide his gun over, begs him not to pull, tells him he doesn't have to do it. And this old guy still tries to pull a gun on him. What a dummy. This little dummy over here.
You're honestly an idiot.
Turns out the old guy was a sort of scout for Kathleen. Walkie goes off. And now the craziest part of this episode commences. A goddamn army cruises up on Henry and the kids, and Joel uses that rifle and tries his best to help out. He actually does shoot out one of the drivers of the trucks in front of the convoy, and it crashes into a nearby house. Kathleen calls out to Henry, and he does come out of hiding for the sake of the kids, mainly Sam. He tells Ellie to get ready to run. Before Kathleen could shoot Henry, though, the truck that crashed suddenly caves into the ground, and we get a little payoff for that foreshadowing earlier. That little problem that Kathleen has been ignoring this whole time slaps her up on her noggin, dude. A huge horde of infected comes sprawling out of the hole. Even a goddamn bloater comes crawling out of that hole. Henry and the kids try to run in the chaos. Guardian Angel Joel over here protects him with that rifle. Ellie hides in a nearby car, and a little girl clicker sneaks in there. That little freak gives me the chills, bro. Ellie and the other two end up running away before being stopped by Kathleen. JK, she gets jumped by that little clicker, dumb bitch. I guess there goes Kansas City. It's gone after that, dude. Kansas City is fucking gone. There was so many infected, bro. They make it to a motel. Joel invites Henry to go to Wyoming together. Ellie and Sam stay up reading comic books. But it isn't always a happy ending. And in Last of Us, it rarely is. Sam didn't get so lucky during the whole thing. He asks Ellie if she's ever scared. She says she's scared all the time. She's scared of ending up alone, which, you know, it's a big deal for Ellie to be admitting her. It is her worst fear. She's lost Tess. Marlene is gone. She said last episode it wasn't her first time killing somebody. Ellie is definitely sensitive here. She's sensitive on losing people. Sam reveals that he got bit during the chaos earlier. Ellie, being a young kid, tries to comfort Sam by telling him that her blood is medicine. She cuts herself and covers his wound with her blood in hopes it would do something. Sam asks Ellie to stay awake with him, and they hug. Morning comes, and Sam is sitting on the bed, back turned to Ellie. She walks up to him. She walks up on him, and he pounces on her. It didn't work. It's such a tragic ending to Sam. He was just a kid, you know? They scramble into the room where Henry and Joel slept. Henry's instinct is to grab Joel's gun. He holds it on Joel even. He even shoots it near him when he tries to go for Sam. But in order to save Ellie, Henry shoots Sam. And in the shock of it all, the pure shock and trauma of it all, he couldn't handle what he's just done. The realization of what he just did. He started to realize what he's done, and he turns the gun on himself. First time he ever had to shoot somebody was his own brother. This moment in the game was the moment it showed me how brutal this world was. They did keep this moment much closer to the game than Bill's whole episode. It showcases the possible outcome for Joel. If Joel doesn't keep Ellie alive, this will be the outcome for him. The only thing that wasn't accurate to the game was Ellie trying to help Sam in the way that she did. The show makes her much more responsible for what happened, and she has to live with that. If they went to the adults, maybe Henry wouldn't have reacted in that way. Maybe he would have been much more rational in that situation. But in the moment, when Sam is literally attacking Ellie, when Ellie's life is on the line, nah, no one's acting rational in that situation, and it's very tragic. These last 2 episodes have slapped so hard. I loved Kathleen's plot. Henry and Sam's plot was just as good as the game's comparison. This episode ends with Joel burying the bodies and Ellie writing on that thing Sam used, "I'm sorry," before walking away. This episode was amazing. I loved episode 4 and 5 are up there for me. They're so good. Like I said, I think there's not a whole lot left of this season that I have big criticisms on. Like episode 2, the whole test thing, sure, and 3, it's not much more of a criticism. It's just more polarizing, you know, like, whoa, I did not expect this. It's not in a bad way. Just like, whoa, that's something, you know, like that's nowhere near the video game. And I kind of like it. But here, it's just like, damn, this is just amazing, you know. I think it's episode 7 that we take another detour from the main plot, but honestly, it's fine. It's good. I don't mind it. I'm excited to go through the rest of these episodes with you gamers. All right, episode 6 is a big one. All right, I'm telling you. All right, episode 6. This coming up episode 6 is my favorite episode in the season. I will say it. All right, it is my favorite. It slaps. All right, it slaps so hard. I will say this. I think they kept Henry and Sam as accurate as they did, because they still needed to show what could happen to Joel and Ellie. They still needed to explore that, unlike the whole Bill thing in episode 3. If Bill's episode didn't hit as hard as it did, I would have been much more critical of it, because these characters that we see in Joel and Ellie's journey are supposed to represent possible outcomes for these characters, you know? Bill being a loner, you know? Bill being a complete isolated loser is supposed to indicate to Joel that, like, this could, if he actually doesn't allow himself to love again, right? And that's not a thing in the show. Bill has probably the best outcome out of any character in Last of Us. In the show, at least. And here, they keep it accurate, and they show, hey, if Joel loses Ellie, this is gonna happen. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next episode.